Okay, and the stream should be starting now. Alright, all I need to do is make this live, and we should be good to play some Ninja Gaiden on Nintendo NES. So let me go ahead and see once I'm live. If there's any issues, you guys let me know, and I will get this started. Okay, where's the chat? God, I'm so bad at YouTube. Alright, this should be good right about here. Just gonna give the stream a minute or so to go ahead and populate, and then we can get going. So, honestly, this is just gonna be a laid-back, regular stream. Nothing all that special. If you guys are expecting some crazy, like, you know, Twitch speedrun or something like that with all the little splits and stuff, I hate to tell you, it's just gonna be a regular Ninja Gaiden 2 stream. But I did grow up with this. I played this quite a lot back in the day, so I'm well acquainted with Ninja Gaiden 2. I believe it's called the Sword of Darkness, but, you know, we just called it Ninja Gaiden 2 back in the day. Who do we got in the chat? Is there anybody there? If there's somebody in the chat, go ahead and say something. Gotta give it another minute here. Let's see, hold on. Let's see, am I coming through A-okay? I think that should be good. Alright, I don't see anybody in the stream yet. There we go. Lost Cosby says, hey Kenny, how's it going, Lost Cosby? Mike Gorman says hello. Who else we got in the stream tonight? Hi Kenny from Peter Ang. Topeka says, what's poppin'? 102% not fake says, what up? Hey, how's it going? So remember me, Peter Ang? Well, Peter Ang, you have the little tiny wrench next to your name, so you have like moderator duties in the chat. So yes, I remember you. The Game SX says, hi there. Mac Morpheus says, hey, how's it going? You guys let me know, is the video quality okay? Is everything coming in all the ways that it's supposed to be coming through? For some reason, the chat doesn't seem like it. There we go. Now I got the chat. Now the chat is perfect. We should be able to start the stream. Just gonna give it one more minute and then we can get this going. Don't know what that means, but okay. Well, that means I think you can, like, block messages or something like that. I haven't looked into it. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure how the whole chat thing on YouTube works. Stream looking good. Digging the design, too. Alright, alright. It's 10 in the morning here. Well, that's a good way to start the day, then, isn't it? Let's see. I think we are good to go. So, this is Ninja Gaiden 2. It was released for the Nintendo Entertainment System in America, and I believe Japan got this, too. Just a favorite of mine. I've always enjoyed this video game. Very tight very simple gameplay. Very easy to control. Just jumping is one button, left and right is one button, ducking, you got that, you got jumping, you have air control, so, you know, depending, like in Mario Brothers, how you press left and right, you have a little bit of momentum that you can control there, and you can attack while you are in the air, so that's always good. The soundtrack is killer. Yes, it is. One of my favorite soundtracks of all time. It's a shame, but they did remake this on the Super Nintendo, and the music was just not as good. I don't know what it is about it, but, you know, it's Super Nintendo music trying to imitate Nintendo music, and just something about it. Something is very slightly off, and I couldn't tell you what exactly it is, but I've always preferred the Nintendo NES versions. Alright, there we go. Okay, so now here's the most broken ability in the game. You see how I now have two ninjas? This counts as two attacks. And the second ninja is a after image, so it's completely impervious to damage. It's just like a second version of you. They did make Ninja Gaiden 3 eventually, and they dropped that ability completely because it trivializes the entire game if you know what you're doing. You end up doing 3 times as much damage, and it's super cool. I love how broken it is, but not exactly a great design choice. So they did remove that from the third game. See, because now you can have 3. Check that out. So that's 3 different attacks, and as you notice, right above me, they will stay in the air right after you do a jump. So there are certain bosses later that, go from being in the air to being on the ground, which allows you to just attack from the ground, attack from the air in the ground, which is just like an absurdly broken ability. Let's see, nice, A, how's it going? This is another little feature of Ninja Gaiden. You can just go up and down on the walls. The first game forced you to jump back and forth a bunch of times, but that is one of the big improvements in this one. They do let you just hold up or down on the walls. No damage run. No, I'm not good enough to do a no damage run. But I do know how to play this game a little. You know, like children played these games back in the day, so it's not like it's the hardest video game in the world. I mean, you know, if 10-year-olds can beat Ninja Gaiden 2, I would say that any adult can beat Ninja Gaiden 2. It's not the most difficult video game in the world. It does require a little bit of memorization and some finesse with a few of the attacks, but it's good. It's a good game. Let's see, what do we got here? Anner Manator says, I love you, you big nerd. Thank you for providing entertainment. It helps with my depression. Well, you know, I'm glad to hear that somebody's enjoying my stupid little anime videos that I do about things that only exist as like 30-second commercials in magazines. That last video that I did was a fun journey trying to find that lost anime, and still technically we haven't found it, but at least I verified it was on TV at some point. PKHT Jim says, when Nintendo hard is all you knew. Yeah, this isn't even really all that difficult. And I know that's a crazy thing to say about Ninja Gaiden. However, this game, if you stand still, you won't just die. Compare that to something like Silver Surfer on the Nintendo NES. That game does not give you any breathing room. You can pause, I suppose, but just standing around will end you. I love this piece of artwork right there for the act level. This is another favorite of mine. This has parallax scrolling, so you've got that nice mountain background, you've got the trees going by, you've got the grass down on the bottom, and then you have the train itself. I always thought this was a very pretty level, and the game really just does not do enough of that. As far as I remember, this is the only level that has those multiple layered sprite backgrounds, but they're just beautiful. I love those. I mean, you know, they really knew what they were doing back in the day with these Nintendo games. You gotta remember, people were paying full price for this back in the day. There were people lining up at Toys R Us to pay for Ninja Gaiden full price because, you know, it was just that good. It was just that good back in the day. And I feel like people are missing out. You really can't, you don't know where you're coming from unless you experience the older stuff. You know, you don't know where you're going unless you know where you're coming from. And, you know, this does have an anime art style, I would say, to it, especially Ninja Gaiden 3, which did actually get a Nintendo NES game. And the Japanese box art for it is very anime. I believe it was by a manga artist. Let's see, Elaine was a cool show. It sure was, it sure was. Let me go ahead and just double check something real quick. Alright, damn notifications didn't ring. You know, YouTube is weird. Sometimes they'll notify you about something, sometimes they won't. You just have to pay attention. Oh, Ninja Guy, always with those beautiful grassy backgrounds. This does have at least a foreground layer. You've got this nice snow that determines which way you jump in the level. So this one does require a tiny bit of patience to it. See, as you can see, like the wind isn't moving me if I stand, but all of a sudden it'll change direction, and at that point you have to kind of pay a little bit more attention. Okay, do a little jump there. Go off that wall. Just wait for a second here for the wind to go back to normal, and then I'll go up this other wall. Let's see, anyone check out that new, didn't read that one. I beat Ninja... Boo Ju says, I beat NES Ninja Gaiden as a kid. I couldn't afford 2 or 3, became a busy adult before I could get them emulated. The swirly slash thing was OP. Yeah, you're talking about the very original Ninja Gaiden. And he's talking about, in the very first Ninja Gaiden for Nintendo Entertainment System, there's an ability that automatically kills like 90% of the bosses in the game, maybe every boss in the game if you have it, and it's this spinning attack that, I don't know, it's just like a gigantic spinning attack box, so anything that touches it automatically gets hit like 30 times, and I guess they didn't expect people to have that ability when you go into the boss rooms. Did you find the Maze anime movie yet? Maze the anime movie was never released on any sort of home format, so there's no Laserdisc, there's no VHS tape, and it was never aired on TV, so we're not going to be able to find any sort of TV recordings for it, making finding that very, very difficult. It's in the same sort of situation as that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure movie is. you know, if something didn't air on TV and it didn't get put onto any sort of home formats, you're just not going to be able to get it, which is a shame. There are a couple of exceptions to that rule, obviously. There are things like, you see that? Instantly killed the boss, because I have the 3 ninjas. What was I going to say? There are a couple exceptions to that rule, like anime that was released on Video 8, which is a weird format. Video 8 was like this cassette tape format. Oh, I guess it wasn't cassette tape. It was technically magnetic tape. That was sold basically just to airlines. So there are a couple of lost anime that may have like tapes on airplanes, like legitimately somewhere. So that is like an exception to that rule. But generally, like if something only aired in theaters, the odds of you being able to get it are almost 0, I would say. Let me see. I think I got a couple of donations. Let me go ahead and catch up with that real quick. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, Wise Duck, $5 through Patreon. Thank you very much, Wise Duck. Let's see here. What else we got here? PKHD Jim donated $5 through Super Chat. Thank you very much on that one. This is another level where it seems intimidating at first, but you see how the level will shift through these lightning bolts. Technically, if you wanted to, if you didn't know if you were going to be able to make a jump, all you need to do is just pause, and you wait it out, and it'll show you where you need to go. Like here, for example, I pause, and then I can see there's a little area that I need to jump over. Let's see what else I got here on Super Chat. Yep, alright, we're all caught up there. Lord Disco Rock donated $10, and for some reason your message was redacted. So if you're still in the chat, go ahead and send me another message. Techmoan collaboration, when? I should really contact him about the VHD anime, because he did talk about VHD at some point, which is a super obscure anime format, but he didn't talk about any of the anime on it. But there was, for I would say 4 years or so, anime that was released on vinyl record, and that's not like, you know how I just did a video talking about the anime, lost anime on a vinyl record? This is lost anime in vinyl records. And the VHD format, I tried to get a player, but it's difficult. With the whole COVID thing, they really don't want to ship very heavy items to people for some reason. And not only that, they only made those players for around 4 years or so. So just finding one that works would be a Herculean effort. I don't know where Techmoan got his. I think he just ended up buying like a brand new VHD player in order to do his videos. But maybe that's the route that I'll have to go down. And yeah, you know what? Why not? I'll send Techmoan a message and maybe he'll have a little shout out or something. Lord Disco Rock 2019 says, please read the next cutscene in your best version of 80s 90s English dub anime voice. I will try my best. Kenny, anytime I see you streaming, I drop what I'm doing to tune in. Really good work on that last video. Well, thanks. I had a lot of fun doing it. It's a shame we didn't really find it. You know, it's strange. There were people telling me, you know, Kenny, there are things called image albums where they were basically proof of concept albums for anime that quite literally did not exist. However, those records, they will say image album on them, or they'll say audio drama or something, you know, something along those lines. However, that vinyl record from the anime that basically didn't exist said that the opening was the fighter and the ending was the winner. So, like, that was clearly in my mind an intro and an ending theme to an anime. So that just confused me even more, I would say. Okay, there we go. Very generous hitbox on that attack right there. Barely nicked that enemy and I was still able to get him. Alright, Chaos Blast says, will you do some obscure anime from Rumiko Takahashi's works like Ranma Half and Urusei Yatsura? Maybe at some point. I have something in mind on VHS that I would like to do a video on at some point, but my plate is pretty full. I'm working on another Japanese schoolgirl drama, so if you like that Skebon stuff that I talk about... okay, should have jumped. I zigged when I should have zagged. If you like that, you know, Skebon stuff that I talk about occasionally, that'll probably be the next video. But I said that last time, too, and I ended up finding an anime that didn't exist. So it depends. It's gotta come together correctly. There's a lot of research that goes into it, and the problem is, a lot of that stuff that I look into you know, you just cannot find info on a lot of these things. There was this one drama that I was trying to find info on a show from like the mid 1970s. Sorry, not 1970s, 1980s. And again, it's like you see a vinyl record for the music. The idol that worked on it may have, you know, done some sort of interview that shows up on VHS on YouTube, and then like the entire show will just be gone. It's frustrating with a lot of these shows, but that's why I only do about a video once every couple of weeks or once a month, whatever, just because, you know, you want to make them right. And I'm not about making a video once every single week, which I could absolutely do, but I like to put a little bit of extra work, you know, go that extra mile for a lot of my videos. Oh my god, I am not doing well here. Okay, focus. Okay, maybe if I inch forward, will that spawn the bird? Okay. Up. Okay. Alright. Duck. Ah. Okay. Go forward. Okay, good. Got past there. Whew. Let's see. Just saw Urusei Yatsura, Beautiful Dreamer for the first time. Amazing art in that movie, but it felt the ending was a little bit off. Well, you know, that's how a dream generally is. You end up waking up and you have that same sort of feeling. Maybe that was what they were going for. Hey, I almost did it. You can actually damage boost to get up there. You know, you take one hit and it just knocks you up to the upper path. Alright. Hopefully there's an item or something up here that makes up for it. Come on. Alright. Whoop. Almost. There we go. Now let's see. Oh, man. That was not what I wanted to do. Alright, it's fine. It's fine. I'll just go this way. Okay, pause for a second here. Kenny is very good. He's like the Yang Yi of the anime community. They should do a crossover. Don't know who that is, which, you know, I know you guys don't want to hear me say that, but you guys name drop a lot of stuff that I don't know about. Capture card keeps deleting your Twinja. Yeah, you know, that's the thing. It kind of does whatever it wants to do, so, what can I tell you? These old video games were not meant to be displayed on modern displays, so it's a wonder I can show you what this looks like at all. I didn't think, you know, when I was a kid that one day I would be able to show people Ninja Gaiden on the Nintendo NES in the modern day. And what are we, 2021? That's the year, I think. God, it all just bleeds together every year. Okay, come on. Almost. Okay. Alright, there we go. CRTs are the best? Yes, they are. I love me some CRT tube televisions. Works great. What is an anime? Irene, are you still alright? So this is how dubbing would be back then. I see you are still alive, ninja. What the? Doesn't she know? Oh wait, okay, I was about to say it's Jakuyo is talking here. I was gonna say she doesn't even know his name, because this is like the second game she should know. I find it hard to believe that a weakling like you was able to defeat Jakuyo. Let's see, Zero Knight EX says, NES games were made back when you couldn't beat them in a weekend. A lot of the time, the Japanese versions are way easier. Yeah, that's the case with stuff like Battletoads. Japanese version of Battletoads is quite a lot easier. What's my favorite Urusei Yatsura movie? What was the last one? Like Lum the Forever? Or is that one of the OVAs? I forget. Beautiful Dreamer is basically what I default to. Any plans on covering some World Masterpiece Theater stuff? I know you're the Lost Media boomer, but I'd love to hear about some of your thoughts on World Masterpiece Theater. Maybe someday. That's a very, very large series. Technically, Elfie is World Masterpiece Theater adjacent. I believe her theme music is on a CD with all the themes from a bunch of World Masterpiece Theater stuff. So, like, I don't know, technically I kind of already talked about it. And, what was it? The 15 Boys Adrift, I mentioned briefly as part of that. Hacked Agent says, hey Kenny, if you watch the Pokemon series, would you prefer subbed or dubbed? They're different experiences. The English dub is so completely different from the Japanese version that I feel like you could watch through that series 2 different times and get a completely different experience each time. They're unique. Let's see, foiled by a gun. Let's see. Kerbals, thoughts on Ninja Gaiden Collection? What, the 3D games? I never played that. I never had an Xbox, so I didn't have, what was it, Sigma? Or Black, Ninja Gaiden Black, whichever it was. RX0 says, did you ever watch Ace no Onare? So, Aim for the Ace? Yes. How could you have not seen that? That is the tennis anime. Zeno Bibliographer says, have you seen Magic Users Club OVA? I haven't. Haven't seen that one. I know what it is, just haven't watched it. Love the music in this level, by the way. Like, fantastic level music. Ah, come on. There we go. Okay, do that. Get rid of that enemy. Jump up here. Star. Jump. Land. Flame shield. Alright. The flame shield is also, like, really, really good in this game. You're completely right. Weird how stuff like that worked back then. Okay, thoughts on Ninja Gaiden OVA? It's okay as a supplement to Ninja Gaiden 3 on the Nintendo NES. I like it. But I would say, you know, people who are into Ninja Gaiden these days, it's a curiosity. It's not like a particularly good anime on its own, but as a little piece of history, I like it. Okay, that's an area where I have to wait for an enemy to pass by. Like I said, there's a little bit of patience in Ninja Gaiden. Let's see, who else we got here? Caspi Dash says hello. Alex Wing says best retro anime. Beats by Dr. Fran says good evening. Is this the fabled VHS capture setup? Yes, it is. It's RGB going to the stream and VHS on my end. Okay. Get that. Ah, so close. I didn't jump enough. Alright. I think you actually get infinite continues in this game too, which is like another reason that this game is really easy. There were a lot of games where, you know, you end up losing, you'll go back to the first level, and there were also games that had like finite continues. I think the English version of Ninja Gaiden 3 has like, I think it's like 5 or 10 continues or something like that, and then the game's over. You know, if you didn't beat the game by that point, you're done. So yeah, this game is it's a lot more forgiving, I would say, than the other Ninja Gaiden games. Not that hard. Ninja Gaiden 3, though, will kind of break you if you don't know what you're doing. Okay. Alright, get that there. Okay, jump. Ah. Okay. Let that bat go by. Go up here. I must be too used to the first one. Yeah, the first one, it's a little bit different. Like, you can't hold the button to jump up the wall. But there's a lot less vertical movement in that game, so it doesn't really matter. Zero Knight says, Kenny, where were you back in the day with the Sega versus Nintendo debates? Most of the people I knew that had a Sega Genesis, they had it for Sonic the Hedgehog and sports games. You know, they would have it for Madden and Sonic, and that was basically it. As far as where I'm on the debate, I mean, like, I enjoy the Sega Genesis for the arcade shooters, but, you know, obviously not everybody is into that genre of video games. If you're not into that, I'm not going to say there's no reason to buy the system. I mean, obviously Sonic the Hedgehog is, like, you know, 10 out of 10. But you gotta look. There is some stuff, there are a few adventure games like Landstalker, as an example. It's a pretty good game. Genesis Mega Drive, Shining Force. Yeah, there are a few RPGs. I mean, there's Phantasy Star 2 on there, and 3 and 4, so if you're a Phantasy Star fan, obviously that's something you want to get. I would say maybe it's better if you factor in the Sega CD, but that's really not the same system. Hey, Lauderdale gang. Hey, how's it going? Duck, jump. Oh, was not able to hit that right before it hit me. Okay, get rid of that. Okay, fire ability. Okay, go this way. Jump. Alright, go down. Please don't hit me. Okay, good. At this point, Sega vs. Nintendo is pointless because they're both fantastic. They are fantastic systems. Each of them has their strengths and weaknesses. I would say Super Nintendo was better for the role-playing games. But Sega Genesis had those arcade shmups. I mean, you got Troubleshooter on there. You got, what else you got? You got Truxton. You got, Gunstar Heroes. I mean, really, Sega Genesis is still a fantastic system that does not get as much love, but it's more because, with Nintendo games, everybody's constantly still thinking about Nintendo because the Switch still exists. But with Sega, it's like, where's their new system, The Switch is basically drumming up interest in old Nintendo games, but you can't say the same thing about Sega. Where's their online service that's making everybody talk about Monster World 4 all of a sudden, And, I guess that's a bad example because, technically there is a Monster World 4 remake coming out. But, you know what I mean. They've got that online service where they're still re-releasing old Nintendo games, but with Sega, it's like, you don't have a Dreamcast 2. People just aren't talking about it. Sega has a lot of classic games on Steam. It does. But, who talks about, hey, I downloaded this Sega Genesis game on Steam? Basically nobody, I think. Maybe I'm a little out of the loop to say that, but that's how I feel. In my heart of hearts, I don't think there's a lot of people buying Sega Genesis games on Steam. Xbox 350 was Dreamcast 2. Sega CD gets you Lunar and Lunar 2, my favorite games. Yes, it does. I like the PS1 remakes a little bit. Not so much the remake of Lunar 2. I like the remake of the original Lunar, but I prefer the Sega CD version of Lunar 2 because they changed quite a few things on the PS1 that was not to my taste, but they're still both fantastic games, remakes and all. Sega still makes good games. Yes, they do, but it's never going to be like it was in the 90s. If you lived through what I lived through, man, it would, like, when they talk about console wars, man, you would end up ending friendships if you said the wrong thing about a video game system. It was nuts what was going on those playgrounds back in the day. Okay, jump there, go up this way. Earthworm Jim is better on Sega Genesis. I would say so. Mostly the physics are a tiny bit better, and I would say the music is definitely better on the Sega Genesis. However, the Sega CD version of Earthworm Jim blows both Super Nintendo and Genesis version right out of the water, so, it's a moot point on that one. Okay, get that, and there we go. The Saturn destroys the Nintendo 64. Saturn has more, how do I put this? It has more there's a lot of Saturn games that never came out in America, that's what I wanted to say. So there is stuff on there that I feel like people don't appreciate, but, not everybody is gonna be able to, oh, that can hurt you. Okay, I didn't know that. Not everyone has access to fan translations of Japanese games. And even back in the day, outside of, mod chipping a system, you didn't have a lot of Saturn people that I knew of. I only knew, one guy who had a Sega Saturn, playing Sega Saturn games. It's just, it was a very expensive system. Nobody had it. It was like the TurboGrafx 16 or the Neo Geo. Just, nobody had those systems when I was a kid. And I know that's very different in Europe and Brazil and a lot of other countries, but here in America, basically nobody had a Sega Saturn. Not that I knew of, anyway. What do we got here? We got from Soko, New Zealand, $15. Soko says, what continuation or reboot of an anime did you think was the most disappointing or unnecessary? I would say the remake of Kino's Journey was disappointing in my eyes. But that's understandable. It wasn't the same director. Basically nobody involved with the 2013 series had anything to do with the remake from 2017. But I was always of the opinion that they should completely remake that series and adapt all the other light novels. And they tried, and I wouldn't say they completely failed. There are aspects of it that I enjoy, but nothing's ever gonna be as good as that series that they did in 2003. Because that original 2003 series was just perfect in so many different ways. Okay, there we go. Is there a way for me to use, the star? There we go, that's what I was trying to get. Thank you very much for the donation. I will put that towards some VHS tapes and other weird oddities for my anime channel that I do. But yeah, I've heard very bad things about the 2017 Kino's Journey. I don't know if all of them are warranted. To be fair, I only watched a couple of episodes of it, and I decided it wasn't for me. But yeah, that's my answer. And you know, you could talk about like Berserk 2016 until your voice goes out. But you know, like everybody's talked about Berserk like a million times, right? One thing I thought I was a little disappointed in was the Overlord seasons. Season 1 of Overlord, I didn't think it was perfect, but I enjoyed it. Season 2 and 3, however, they ended up doing 2 seasons in 1 year, which tells me that they used the budget for 1 season to do 2 seasons. And then all of a sudden, you know, you've got that horrible CG going on, and it's just, it's not the same. It's just not the same as it could have been. I would love it if they gave that series another try, just redid that from the beginning, but I don't see them redoing Overlord anytime soon. Okay, whoa. Okay. Duck. Do that, do that, do that. Alright, got it. Pause. Okay, what else we got here? Canadian $20 from Tori Nato Dean. Tori Nato... Or maybe Tornado. I think it's pronounced Tornado. You let me know if I'm mispronouncing that. Says, Tornado says, hopefully you can use this to get even more Twinkle Nora nonsense. There are data books for Nora and Twinkle Nora Rock Me. However, when they do show up, probably because of my videos, they're like $200 or $300. And I'm not about to pay like a couple $100 for a Nora book that might technically have some info in it. You'll know what I'm talking about. Go on eBay right now, type in Twinkle Nora Rock Me. There's one auction that some guy from Japan has the Twinkle Nora Rock Me data book, and he's asking like $300 for it. And I really want it, but like, I have VHS tape money. I don't have like multi-$100 funds to buy some random Twinkle Nora Rock Me data book that may or may not have info in it that I don't know yet, you know? Yeah, I do keep my eyes on all that stuff from Mikuriya Satomi, who has done quite a lot of Twinkle Nora, well, not Twinkle Nora Rock Me stuff specifically, but a lot of Nora stuff. He published, I want to say, 3 or 4 manga in a manga called, I think it was like Sun Comics back from the 1970s. And back then, you know, he was trying to push Nora as like his own series. So he started that off as Nora's Ark, which is where she gets her name, you know, kind of like Noah's Ark, right? And that didn't really work, and then I think he made a sequel series called, like, Nora and the Great Sulfur Current, I want to say is what the name of that was. But that was a story about, like, the future 1970s, where Nora was trying to figure out how to fix pollution on planet Earth. Very pro-environment message in some of these Nora manga. And then after that, I believe he tried Nora a couple of more times, didn't really work. And then towards the end, he did Twinkle Nora, which is a gag manga, which is why it makes no sense compared to the original OVA. And then his final gambit was to make the Twinkle Nora Rock Me anime that we all know and love, and that also did not work. So there you go. There's your little Nora history lesson there. I'll do like a full video on all the Nora bonus info as I get it. But it's scattered across a lot of old, like, 1970s info. And in addition to that, actually, the creator of Twinkle Nora Rock Me, you know how in that video I said that he worked for the CDI, that horrible system that has, like, the Zelda Wand of Gamelon and whatnot on it? It's not that bad of a system, but, you know, people know it for the bad Zelda games. Anyway, he worked on the CDI, and around that time he started up, I want to say maybe in like 1998, he started up a website. Like, yeah, like in the AOL.com days, right? And there is a Nora Online webcomic that is partially lost media that I've been trying to track down. And we have, I want to say, like 5 pages of it from the Wayback Machine, like archived a few pages of it. And that's all we really know about the Nora webcomic. But like, that's another thing. At some point, I'll compile all this into some sort of video, because, like, God knows nobody else is going to bother with Twinkle Nora Rock Me again. But, yeah, there is legitimately a little bit more to talk about with the Nora info. Ellen Yaya donated $10, says, "Hey, Kenny, I'm about to go to bed, though. I just got here. Just gotta get to work early. What are your thoughts on King of the Hill? Dub or sub? Keep doing your best." I like King of the Hill dub a little bit more than the subbed version. Season 3 is a favorite of mine. I thought that was that perfect balance of the serious kind of dry humor of King of the Hill and the kind of ridiculousness of Beavis and Butthead. So I thought Season 3 was excellent. 3 to 5 is the sweet spot for me. But yeah, have a nice sleep, and I hope you rest well. Thank you very much for the donation. On to the next super chat. Faz Trax 1980 donated $5. Faz Trax says, "Did you know that Inspector Gadget was anime? It was commissioned by France and animated by Japan." Well, my current criteria for anime is just two things. One, was it animated? If it's just a bunch of zoom-ins or like pictures of manga panels, I don't count that as anime. Because it's not animated, right? Very, very simple. Has to be animated some way. The second criteria is it has to be a Japanese production. So I would say G.I. Joe is not an anime, even though it was clearly animated by Japanese animators. But I don't believe the writers were Japanese, which is like a large criteria for it. On the other side of the spectrum, you could look at Alfred J. Quack, which I talked about a little bit. The writers for Alfred J. Quack, all Japanese production. Director, again, from Japan. And the studio that made it was Japanese. The only part of it that was not from Japan was the original creator of the series. So it really just depends. It's like, as long as like 75% of it is Japanese, you could call it anime, I guess. But yes, large portions of Inspector Gadget were done in Japan. If you watch Inspector Gadget these days, I mean, it does look a lot like anime. Sometimes it looks like Mysterious Cities of Gold occasionally. It's just that kind of show, which is another like French-Japanese co-production. I should have talked about Mysterious Cities of Gold in that video. I failed to mention it for some reason. But that's another one. There's also Ulysses 31, I think is the name of that show, which is another show that has Japanese origins to it, but people consider that like a European comic, so it just depends on how you want to look at it. One thing that I feel like I failed in that video is I was using like the Wikipedia definition that says it has to be some sort of drawing. However, anime of the year this year is Pui Pui Molcar, the show about guinea pig like cars made out of felt, and that's completely stop motion. So if you go on Bandai's channel and you look up the Poi Poi Molcar videos, it says anime and hiragana right on the channel. So there you go. Stop motion is anime. It really just depends on your perspective. Thank you very much for the donation. I'm gonna move on to the next super chat. Thank you so much. Tornado Dean says, "Hopefully you can use this to get even more Twinkle Nor nonsense." Already read that one. Thank you very much. Let me just double check to make sure I caught up on the super chats and the donations. Just gonna go ahead and double check here. I've got the best internet connection in the world. Let's see. Draga001 donated $2 through Super Chat. Says, "Shout out to Broward County." Well, all right. Where are my Lauderdale bros at? Or is that Broward? Yeah, I would think, right? Maybe I'm just getting tired. But yes, thank you. Let's see. I have to pay attention. Can't look at the chat. Okay, good. What else we got here? Did you know Inspector Gadget was anime? Cyber Meltdown donated $5 through Super Chat. Cyber Meltdown says, "Here to send you some positivity, enjoying your stream while playing some games myself. Thank you very much for making awesome content." Well, thank you very much for the kind words. I'm always trying my best. You guys let me know if I ever go a little bit too far. Apparently that things that might be anime video was not received perfectly. But I will keep trying my best. YouTube is an experiment. You throw some things at the wall, sometimes they don't work, sometimes they do, and as long as you're trying your best all the time, there's no issues with that, I would say. So, yeah, thank you very much for enjoying the content. I'm glad that you guys like what I do. It's always nice to see people respond positively to something that you're passionate about. When I was getting into anime, God, was it like, I want to say it's over 20 years ago now when I started becoming an anime fan. There were not these online, well, I suppose there were online places where you could talk about things like that, but you would have to go to some message board or like some Usenet group or some IRC chat room. Do you guys like remember AOL chat rooms where you could talk about anime? Because that was a thing for a little while too. It was a lot harder to talk about anime back then, and we take that for granted. We really are, I would say, almost spoiled in a way. Because now it's not only is it easier to watch anime, it's much, much easier to talk about it. Sometimes going back through those old, like, archived, like, Google posts from people talking in the 90s about, like, Sailor Moon, that always makes me laugh, because they're always, like, arguing about the exact same stuff that modern anime fans are arguing about. Just like people saying, oh, like, anime is getting too cute. There's all these moe anime with, like, cute girls doing cute things. It's ruining anime. And it's like, they were talking about that back in, like, the mid-1990s, which just, like, makes me laugh. But yeah, it's a lot easier to discuss things now, which I think people take for granted. It's an interesting time we live in. Not the best time in the world, but as far as anime goes, it's pretty good. Let me go ahead and catch up with the super chats. What else we got here? A waifu in VR donated $5, says, hey Kenny and Ross from Accursed Farms have ever been seen together in the same place? You can't prove that that's me. That's the thing. I mean, I don't know here. If I wanted to talk like a little bit lower, I guess maybe. Do I sound like Ross from Accursed Farms? I would say that I have a unique sound to my voice, but maybe all of us 30-year-old boomers, we sound exactly the same. Maybe they were putting something in the water, maybe it was something we ate. Who knows? If you want to contact Ross and have us do like some kind of anime video game crossover, that might be fun. Another donation through Super Chat from David Gonzalez. David donated $4.99 through Super Chat, but did not leave a message, or at least not one that I can see. But I do appreciate the donation. Now you two are very different. I mean, I can talk more like him if I talk a little bit higher, but mostly I just have a slightly higher voice when I'm more excited about talking about something, or sometimes when I'm just losing my mind. Like the Twinkle Nora Rock Me video, I was just like, I felt drained doing that. Because, like, what are you supposed to say about an anime that looks like a PowerPoint presentation? Like, that just fried all my senses. I didn't know what to say about that. It really just depends on what the subject matter of the video is. Like, obviously, the Girl Detective Club video is nothing like the video I did on Yokohama Kaidashi Kiko. But I like to give a chance to basically anything I watch. But if something deserves it, like Charge Man Ken, which very clearly is an aberration of anime, I'm not even sure if you can call it an anime. You know, I'll go in with a little bit of humor. It's hard to know how far to push it. There are people in that comments section, because I'm still getting like tons of comments on that every day, like complaining that I was making fun of Charge Man Ken. The anime where the voices of the characters sometimes come from the wrong people's mouths. The anime where people don't have the same amount of fingers on their hands from scene to scene. The anime where sometimes people have 2 left hands, or 2 right hands, or their eye colors will change mid-scene. Like, that's the level of anime Charge Man Ken is. And, I'll tell you one thing that I do enjoy about Charge Man Ken, and I think this is partially because it started off as a manga, which you guys may not know. Or at least there is a Charge Man Ken manga. It might have been made after the anime. However, the design for Charge Man Ken, his helmet and his suit, very iconic, very hero-like. You could pick him out from a crowd if he was just an outline. I like that. He's got a very unique design to him, and you could you instantly recognize him, which I like. It's just a shame he's in like the worst TV show ever. So, you know. But if I had to choose one thing that I do enjoy about that show, it's his design. I enjoyed. Cat Link says Charge Man Ken has the same quality issues as Super Mario Brothers show. Yeah, Super Mario Bros. Super Show, doesn't that have a character? What was he called? Like, there was an Indiana Jones character in the Super Mario Bros. Super Show called Indiana something, and I can't remember, but he had no face in the show because they didn't feel like animating a mouth or eyes onto him, and I've always laughed about that. I think they fixed it for like the DVD version. Lycan FX donated $2 through Super Chat, says, Kenny is really Charge Man Ken all grown up. Well, as I said in the video, it's an anime with my name on it, so you cannot prove that was me. Samurai Showdown or Last Blade, which do I prefer? That is a tough one, because I do enjoy Last Blade 2 quite a bit, but I also enjoy Samurai Showdown 2. I mean, man, Samurai Showdown 2 is just like a masterpiece. To choose between those, I mean, they're very different games. Last Blade 2 is combo-based, and Samurai Showdown 2 is a lot more about spacing, I would say. So it plays quite a bit different. So I'm not sure if they're exactly fair to compare to each other. If I had to choose one, I guess I would choose Samurai Showdown 2. 3 has that nice dark, gritty color palette. I don't know if it's mechanically as good as the other Samurai Showdown games. They ended up being more and more about combos later on, which was a little bit of a problem for me. But so I don't know. If you want combos, play Last Blade 2. If you want spacing and very, very deliberate attacks, go ahead and play yourself some of the Samurai Showdown 2. Okay, hold on. How do I do this? Oh my god. I forgot how you're supposed to fight these. Wasn't paying attention. Let's see, we got $5 super chat from PKHT Jim. Did not leave a message, but I appreciate the support for the channel in these hard times. Thank you very much, PKHT Jim. But yeah, you know, those are very different games. It's like comparing Super Smash Brothers to, I don't know, like Bushido Blade. You know, they're different. You know, like, technically, yes, they are games in which characters fight each other, but mechanically, they're very, very different, I would say. Which is good. I liked when video games, or at least fighting games, had a lot of different systems to them. Obviously, Capcom vs. SNK 2 is just genius for that fact, because you've got all these different fighting styles from, you know, from Street Fighter Third Strike to King of Fighters to the Fatal Fury systems and stuff like that. So I like it when they vary it up a bit. That's always fun. Okay. There we go, got it. And you see what I mean by the shadow abilities being completely broken? I had 3 guys, so that was 3 different attacks, all within a volley. And that's why they removed this ability in Ninja Gaiden 3. It's just too broken. You're doing 3 times as much damage. Like, clearly they didn't expect you to instantly, in 3 seconds, beat the boss. So that's the reason why they removed that spinning attack from the first game, and I believe Ninja Gaiden 3 has the exact same problem, so they kind of removed it. Okay, from Wee Biologist, UYU is a denomination that I've never heard of, but for 30 UYUs says, really enjoy your channel. Favorite VTuber? I guess the only one that I've seen is the girl who has the dog avatar. What's her name? Like Korone or something like that? I've seen her because she was stuck on like Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for like 10 hours because she was trying to get all the Chaos Emeralds or something. And I respect that level of dedication. I've only, you know, streamed, I think like the longest I did was 7 hours. And now I average around 3 or 4. But she does not know when to give up, and I respect that. So thank you very much for the donation. And that's the only one I know, so I'm going to say that's my favorite through process of elimination. Only one I know about. I guess there's other ones. They all have different, like, different costumes and stuff. I haven't really been paying attention to it, so what can I tell you? I know the one. What else we got here? Let's see, Korone, yeah, she's a trooper. What else we got here? Waleed says, I'm here to remind you of Genghis and Goku Yunin Rai. I'm still looking into it, man. I'm not saying I'll never talk about it, but, you know, the chances are going up every time you mention it. Okay, so this is, I believe, the last area of the game, or maybe second to last. This feels like a second to last, now I think about it. One cool thing about this is, I don't think I've ever done it in one run, but the very last boss of this game, has 3 different forms, right? So there's basically, it's like a boss rush. You do 3 different bosses in a row. However, if you end up losing to that boss, what it'll do is it'll restart you at the level, but when you fight the boss again, it will not reset the boss form. So you can beat the boss form number 1, then you can, if you end up losing, you just restart the level, and then it'll continue on boss form number 2. I don't believe the original Ninja Gaiden works that way, but it's been a while, so couldn't tell you. There we go. And you need to know when to use your ninpo, which are the ninja attacks in this game. Because if you have mastery over your ninpo, then you can kind of trivialize the game. But that does kind of turn it into this sort of, if you get hit or lose your ability one time, you automatically have to restart sort of game. So that is my... You know what I would like in Ninja Gaiden 2? You see how I have this fireball attack all the way at the top? You know how in Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo, you have these abilities that you can automatically kind of stockpile away at the top? Like you'll have a mushroom at the top of the screen or like a fire flower. That would be perfect for this game. And I think that would make this, it might be a little bit easier, but I think it would probably, I went the wrong way. I think it would probably make it better if you could stockpile the Nimpo. Other than that, I would say this is a fairly good game. It's almost perfect. As perfect as a Nintendo NES platformer could probably be. I mean, it is up there. Alright. She's done a 36-hour retro game stream before. That's ridiculous. I don't know. That's not good for your health. God, I can't even imagine doing a 36-hour stream. 10 hours would probably be pushing it. Like a whole day stream. Maybe 16 at the most. But 36, yeah, that's ridiculous. Yes, I have played Shatterhand. I love that game. Okay, so I believe this is the final area of the game. Now, like I said, I'm probably not good enough to beat all 3 final forms of the final boss. However, the final boss, once you lose, it'll restart you right here, and then you can just try it again. It's forgiving enough. Cemetery Hill donated $5. Let me go ahead and see what your donation message was. Just gotta reload this. Give me a second here. Okay, Cemetery Hill said... for $5. Yo, Kenny, when you just went on a Daikon 4 binge and had a blast watching a bunch of great vintage animation, thoughts on Daikon? Also, Monster Musume at 2,500,000, 2,500, let's see, 25,000 subscribers? Yeah, 250,000 is what I think it says. It used to seem so far away when I would ask you this before, but you're almost there. Yeah, what are we up to? Like 175,000 or something like that? That's ridiculous. The video that I did about the lost anime found on a vinyl record really did push the channel, I guess, in the algorithm or something. People love lost media. I don't know what it is about it. And I could do videos on lost media, every single video, if I wanted to, and probably get up to 250,000 real quick. But I talk about stuff that I like to talk about, and I'm not saying I don't like lost media, but you gotta give yourself a little breather. Throw a review out there, throw a lost media video out there, maybe a J-drama. Talk about a bad anime occasionally. I don't like doing too many of the same sort of things in a row. But yeah, it does seem like the channel is really blowing up. I didn't think that video on the vinyl record was going to do so well. Because if you look at the video that I did like on Elfie, didn't do all that well compared to my other ones. And, I know it's like YouTuber problems, right? Oh man, I didn't get 100,000 views. I feel horrible. Like, that's an amazing amount of views. I shouldn't care. But like, that ended up getting, like, in a couple of days, it was at like 100,000. So, that to me says you guys really, really like what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna keep trying my best, but I don't want to burn you out. I don't want to do a lost media video every single time. I could, but kind of don't want to do it. So you guys are just gonna have to check in on me periodically to see what I'm gonna do in the future. But definitely similar content is gonna be coming in the future. Thank you very much for the donation, and I will keep trying my best. Okay, jump here. Alright, now how am I supposed to do this? Okay, hold on. Okay, so I have no ninpo here. There we go. That could have been a problem. I'm here for your voice and dry sense of humor. I don't know if it's a dry sense of humor. I just, you know, like, humor is very subjective. If you make a joke and it doesn't land, you know, it's cringe, as they say. So, like, if you want to say something funny, you better be sure it's gonna be funny. Because if it isn't, then you're gonna look like an idiot. So, I try not to make jokes unless I'm 100% sure I'm gonna get a laugh out of it. Otherwise, you know, it's just probably not worth doing. What did the Joker say in Batman? Like, the #1 rule of comedy is if you have to explain a joke, then there is no joke. You know, if you have to explain basically what's funny about something, then it's probably not worth making a joke about. I think that's part of the reason why that Charge Man Ken video just has so many dislikes on it. Because, you know, you're not gonna make everyone laugh all the time, but, you know, you try your best. I wasn't really trying to make people laugh in the Charge Man Ken video. That was just me trying to get that out of my system. I wanted to validate that I did not have some kind of coma-induced hallucination that was a real anime. You know, I had to share that with the world. But sometimes it does work out. Okay, 2, 3. Got it. Getting a little bit better there. Okay, go this way. Go that way. Left and right. Jump. Okay, Okay, now how's this gonna work here? Got it. Okay, got lucky there. Hey, I got a 1-up. Okay, so that's good. You know, people say that there aren't any checkpoints in this game. However, there is that 1-up there in that level. So, as long as you get that 1-up every single time you're in this section of the level, I would say that counts as a checkpoint, because you're just going to have infinite 1-ups every single time you do it. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Try not to get completely destroyed here by the video game. Wow, they just throw every enemy in the book at you in this level. Okay, there we go. Okay, left. Go up the wall. Go right. Up. Left, right. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to wait for the skeleton to despawn. And there we go. Okay. Now hopefully I have enough ability to go through this. Time to fall asleep to a stream. Well, I guess that's how you do it. I do these streams when I can, so sometimes I just don't have the time or just the energy anymore to do these things. Dante Strife says, was there an anime that you've seen as a kid that you were still looking for? Let me think. I wouldn't mind having a VHS tape of Wee Wendy on VHS. Go ahead and type WEE space Wendy into Google. That's not the name of the Japanese version of the anime, but there was a VHS release of something that was a little bit. It's like the Littles, or maybe like David the Gnome. You know, just wee little people with magic powers and stuff. You know, just doing normal cute things. I grew up with that, and I don't have a copy of it. Wouldn't mind owning that. Okay, give me a second here. We got a Patreon donation. Joseph Coco pledged $2 a month through Patreon. Thank you very much, Joseph Coco. Yeah, not many people pledged through the Patreon. Thank you. What else we got as far as other messages? Okay, so yeah, I'm caught up with the chat. I will, Joseph, I will send you a message after the stream for the Discord invite. Just, you know, be sure to check your messages on Patreon, and I will get back to you. Let's see. Kaio Gen donated 2. Kaio Gen says, thanks to you for the Pet Labor recommendation. I've enjoyed it. Pet Labor is fantastic. You've got the movies, You've got the OVA series, you've got the TV series. Heck, Pat Labor even has a junky Famicom game if you really want to play it. It's not very good. It's not the worst game in the world, but it's not very good. But, like, that's another thing, technically, I suppose. It's a large series. I don't think we got all of it in America as far as manga goes. There might have been a bunch of comics, but I think they were mirrored back in the day, so maybe don't look into those. But yeah, there is quite a lot of Pat Labor stuff out there. I didn't realize I wasn't a patron, haha. Well, you know, it's always good to have that Patreon to fall back on. You know, it's uncertain times these days. So yeah, thank you. What can I tell you? That makes me sleep a little bit better. Decaf Mr. Dragon says Big O. Yeah, I love me some Big O. That was an example that somebody gave when they said, well, anime doesn't even need to be made for an American market. Because there were people in the comments of that, you know, things that might be anime videos saying, Kenny, you didn't talk about what, you know, the market that the anime was released in. And really that doesn't matter, because you look at Big O Season 2 as an anime. I guess Fooly Cooly Seasons 3 and 4, you know, alternative or whatever. Those were released in America first. Kinnikuman Nisei Season, I want to say like 3 or 4. 4 kids ended up commissioning an entire season just for America. But those are also technically anime, so, you know, I don't think it's really a big part of it. Okay. Okay, hold on. Alright, hold on. I'm trying not to get killed here, and it's not working. Okay, how does this work? I'm getting destroyed here. Hold on. Hold on. Alright. I'm not trying to look cool here either, by the way. I'm legitimately not that great at Ninja Gaiden. But I will try. I've got 3 of the guys here, so this should be like enough to beat this boss. Ah, come on. So here's the problem. There's like a rhythm that you're supposed to go through in order to beat that boss. And I guess I didn't have it down. I got a couple of more Patreon donations, but I'll have to catch up for a second. God, that is upsetting me. I was not able to do that. Okay, Kitty Sad Lemon Chicken Burrito, who is tired of being nice, pledged $1 through Patreon. Thank you very much. Michael Leal pledged a $1 through Patreon. And that is all the messages. I am caught up on those. But yeah, you know what I need to do as far as the final boss? I would say it's probably a good idea if I go ahead and like go into the boss with like complete power-ups, because like I said, once you have the 3 power-ups, it just trivializes everything. Now that I've died one time, it's gonna just end up resetting my lives here, because it does give you infinite continues, so there's no reason not to, right? Okay, alright, doing good. Okay, focus. Like I said, you know, Ninja Gaiden is a game of memorization and patience. So, it's not the hardest game, but if you do lose your cool, it can end up being not as fun as you would have hoped. 2, 3. Alright. I heard the Ninja Gaiden death jingle so many times I put it on a phone as a ringtone. Yeah, that is something that kind of scarred me as a kid. But you know, I would say that was probably easier when I was playing this as a kid, because, you know, you have better reaction time, and now it's like, I'm trying to play Ninja Gaiden, you don't remember all the little tricks that you used to know. You have to understand, when you had no internet and this was all you could do, you ended up becoming like a Ninja Gaiden master. Like, you had nothing better to do, so you just became the best in the world at this little tiny game. Okay. Come on. Got it. Alright, go up this way. Pause. Let's see. Chris Bell donated $5. Chris Bell says, keep up the great work. A Golden Bat versus Laughing Salesman. Who would win? Well, the Laughing Salesman could not prey on Golden Bats because Golden Bats is completely fulfilled. He lives his dream of being a laughing skeleton superhero, and there's nothing he wants. If there's nothing, if you don't have any sort of personality flaw for the Laughing Salesman to play off of, you know, he's not going to be able to do anything to you. Like, that entire show is about, it's, you know, they're cautionary tales about not overreaching and living beyond your means and things like that. It's a very, very 1980s Japanese show. However, the Laughing Salesman, if he doesn't have anything that he can offer you because you don't want anything, then you're immune. And Golden Bat is like a skeleton from beyond time and space, and he's also like, I suppose technically like a gag character. You know, he's like a Rele from Dr. Slump. So there's nothing you can really do. He could really do. I would like to see a crossover between Doraemon and the Laughing Salesman because they were both made by Fujio Fukuo or something like that. I can't remember the name of the guy who did Doraemon because I'm trying to beat the final boss of Ninja Gaiden. But yeah, I want to see like a special where Doraemon ends up being gifted to Nobita's family through the Laughing Salesman. I think that would be a nice, funny crossover, but I don't know if the Laughing Salesman is as popular as he used to be. If the anime that they did, you know, with the new Laughing Salesman failing is any indication, people just don't know what the character is anymore, which is like a problem. Okay. Oh, come on. I had 2 more hits. I just had 2 more. I got closer. I did better than I did last time. But yeah, that was an excellent example. You know, what would happen if the Laughing Salesman ended up trying to offer the Let's see, you get to this battle, you should just stop talking, your concentration slips too much. Like I said, I'll try and do that. Let's see, right here. Wait, can you die here or no? I'm purposely trying to get a game over here, because that'll reset my life counter. And there's no reason not to reset your lives, so. Jakuyo. Okay, and need to die one more time here. There we go. The reason it failed was it was a reboot versus new episodes. Well, you know, the original series was already basically perfect, which is like another reason why that show didn't do too well. You know, when you've already knocked it out of the park like you did with that 1970s show, there's no real reason for people to watch it. It's like watching new episodes of Bugs Bunny. It's like, why would you? You know, there's like hundreds of episodes of that cartoon already. You don't need like a new version of Bugs Bunny. It already exists. It's already perfect. Okay, attack, attack. Oh my god. Okay. A little bit forward, move, jump off the wall, attack that, go up, timing, timing, jump, 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 jump. Ah, I was a little bit too close there. And I ended up dying again. See, here's the thing. I should have timed that attack. If you don't time everything just like really perfectly, you know, this game really does feel like it was built for speedrunners, you know? Like it's about memorization and patience and repetition. And they did not want you to be able to beat these video games from like a Blockbuster rental, which is another part of it. You know, if they didn't make the video games harder, they would lose out on money. Because like if a kid can beat this in a couple of hours on a rental, he's not gonna buy the game. You know what I mean? Or at least his parents aren't gonna buy it for him. Oh my. Okay, let me read this super chat here. Abu Tayash donated €5. Says, "Did you watch Hono no let's see, Sokyuji Daj Danpei and Tiger Mask 2? I saw a few episodes of Tiger Mask 2. I don't think I know the name of that earlier anime that you name dropped. Let me go ahead and look this up real quick. Let's see. No, I have no idea what that is. It looks like there was a Game Gear game for it. What is this, a dodgeball anime? No, I've never heard of the dodgeball anime. I wasn't even aware there was a dodgeball anime. I know they've got anime for like RC cars and fishing and all sorts of hobbies, but no, I've never heard of the dodgeball anime, which does sound interesting enough for me to look into. And I watched some of the new Tiger Mask. It's not like perfect, but you know, it's serviceable. It's hard to bring Tiger Mask to like a new audience, because I kind of feel like people just aren't into wrestling as much as they used to be. Okay. Do that. Do that. Okay. Now I have to wait for this enemy to stop attacking. Hold on. Ah, I went backwards. Everything respawns. Okay. But yeah, I did not see the Tiger Mask remake, but like I've seen the 70s series, or at least parts of it. Why can't I get that attack to work? That's the problem with playing one of these games during a stream. I thought I was hot stuff, being like, oh yeah, I've beaten Ninja Gaiden, when really it's just as hard as I remember it. It's not. I want to say this is just. It's not as hard as the first game. But it is tough. Okay, I'm just keeping on dying here to... Every time I screw up in this one area, I'm just gonna reset my life counter. There's no reason not to. Okay. Attack. Jump. Get this. Attack there. Okay, that didn't work. Okay. Get this. Alright, I gotta wait for this enemy to disappear. 3. Okay, go a little bit forward. Alright, there we go. Now I'm back into the groove of things. But yeah, I saw parts of it. I haven't seen the entire new Tiger Mask anime. I heard it was okay. You know, obviously it's not going to have that really, really fluid, super thick brush art style that the 1970s version had, but you know, like, nothing's going to look that way again. Maybe Megalobox, a little bit. But, yeah, you know, part of why I like the original Tiger Mask is they were just doing some really innovative animation with it back in the day. Okay, yep. Oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. Alright, so right there, I was supposed to use the downward fireball, but I didn't have any ninpo left, so I wasn't able to do it. Alright, try this again. You see that? I keep trying to use the ninpo, and I just don't have them. Which is like another problem. If you end up using too many abilities... Okay. Oh my god. Okay, let me go ahead and read this next message. Let's see. Cellrock PHP 125. Cellrock donated 125 PHP, says, "Hey Kenny, have you heard of Gekimation? If so, have you watched Violence Voyager? I have not. That is completely off my radar. Let me see this. Oh, wait, yeah, you're talking about that horror movie that was completely, like, stop motion made out of, what was it, like, paper mache? I've heard of that. I briefly considered putting that into my things that might be anime video. But no, I haven't watched it. But yeah, that is definitely something interesting. I'm not sure if I would do a whole video on it, but, yeah, like, that's the kind of stuff that really gets me thinking, because, like, you look at it and it's not traditional in any sense of the word. But, yeah, I would say that's anime. I mean, it's weird, but it's a weird anime, but it's anime. Oh, you kidding me. Alright, well, as long as I keep getting this one up here, I should have my checkpoint. Okay, let that go off the screen. Slash. Hit that. Duck. See, here's the thing. Like I said, it's just memorization. You can tell I'm getting maybe a little bit better every time. Oh, see, but now I missed the 1-up, so now I need to restart. Have I seen that? No, but I've seen like the trailer for it. You know, it's on my radar. I didn't have the thing like committed to memory, but yeah, I have. Somebody told me about that when I was doing the things that might be anime video, and I was just like, you know, this video is already like 20 minutes long. I don't need to confuse people even more. But yeah, definitely an interesting little art project. Okay, let me pause that right there. Okay, Anime Energy donated $1. Thank you very much, Anime Energy. NES Ninja Gaiden series is the Dark Souls of NES games. I would say it's not really a good comparison, because Dark Souls is all about going very slowly and being very methodical. And if you're good enough, I would say Ninja Gaiden is more about going really, really quickly. But I don't know. I'm not that good at Ninja Gaiden, so maybe it is. Maybe you could compare it to. My timing was slightly off there. Okay, gotta reset this again. I made a 40-minute video. I would watch them all day. Kenny, King of the Hill is an anime. I mean, in Japan, all animation is anime, so there you go. I remember a horror anime that was made out of cardboard puppets. I think that's what the guy was talking about. He was asking me if I had seen it. And I haven't, but that has been on my to-watch list for quite a while now. Oh my god. Okay. Let's see. Watch Arcus play Ninja Gaiden. Well, I'm not trying to do speedruns with the splits and everything, you know? Have you thought about doing a JRPG stream? If I did a JRPG stream, it would be like Breath of Fire 3. I know that game like the back of my hand, so that would probably be the game that I would play. But I don't know. You guys don't want to sit down and watch me play Breath of Fire 3 for like 30 hours, right? I mean, it's probably longer than that. I would guess Breath of Fire 3 is probably like bare minimum like a 40-hour game, isn't it? Those stupid birds. Every time. What's the hardest game I've ever played? Guitar Man on PlayStation 2 on Master Mode. That is the hardest game I've ever played. Or maybe, even worse than that, there is a Dirty Pair game on the Famicom. Dirty Pair on the Famicom may be the most difficult video game ever created. It is so, like, relentlessly difficult to the point where it seems like some kind of torture device experiment. It is that bad. Let's see, 40-hour video would be interesting for a series. Yeah, I don't think YouTube allows you to upload 40-hour unedited streams. Guitar Man does not mess around on Master Mode. No, it does not. Let's see. Adelheim says, when can we expect you to stream a Super Robot Wars game? I streamed the Armored Trooper Vodoms game on PS2 once. But I think it was like 2 a.m. in the morning when I was doing that, and like 30 people saw it, so that's like a lost stream that I didn't back up. But I did try that at some point. Alright, there we go. Alright. Go forward. Down. Up. There we go. Let's see, what else we got here? Oh damn, lost Kenny Lauderdale Media, we've come full circle. Yeah, I haven't backed up a lot of my streams, mostly because they just, like, weren't all that good. You know, or I was, like, tired out of my mind, so I didn't feel like they were worth saving, you know? Like, if you don't have anything to say during a stream, like, I feel if you're doing a stream, you're trying to, like, entertain people, right? And, that's what these streams should be, and if you don't have anything to say and you're not entertaining, then, like, why are you doing the stream? You know, because then it's like you're basically asking people to watch you play a video game, which is, like, the weirdest thing. Like by all accounts, this thing that I'm doing right here, this should not be, like, a thing. It was streaming, like, it kind of popped up out of nowhere, I would say. Okay. Doing a little bit better. Oh, okay, I got hit there. But still, I got to the next area. I remember when Kenny played another level of VOTOMs because I joined. It was like at 4 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, that was... You were there, so there you go. I ended up getting like an hour or two into the game. It was when we got to... Is Quent? What's the name of the desert area? Sorry, no, not the Nam area in Armored Trooper VOTOMs. I forget the names of the actual areas. But there was a part in the game where they started adapting like the second or the third arc, and I remember just not being able to continue because like you needed to know Japanese going into that. Like they expect you to know all of the upgrade paths and stuff for your weapons, and I just was not able to do that properly. Okay. Oh my god, he was one hit away. I was so close there. I'm sorry, I tried paying as much attention as I could. I didn't even read the chat. Didn't even read the super chats, and I still ended up getting killed. Let's see, Abu Tayash donated €5 through super chat, says, please make a video about the dodgeball anime. It's the Kuroko no Basketball dodgeball. I'll take your word for it. You know, what's one cool thing about these streams is you guys end up doing suggestions for things that sometimes turn into videos, so you never know. I mean, that does sound interesting to me, and if I'm interested in it, that's generally a good indicator that it might be a good video to do. Because really, you know, the mark of a good video is something that you want to watch, and I want to watch a video by somebody about the dodgeball anime. So, you never know. Never know. It could happen at some time. Alright. I always get hit there. Okay. How's this gonna work? 3. Okay, jump. Okay, not bad. Only got hit 3 times going into that. Not bad at all. Okay, attack there, go back up, left, right, jump, vertical jump, attack, jump. Okay, good. Like I said, it's timing. 2, 3. There we go. And right there, that's 2 attacks that you have to do in succession there in order to get that to work. Because if you don't kill both of those enemies basically at the same time, you end up not having a good time. You end up getting hurt by enemies that you probably shouldn't have been hurt by. Okay. Alright. Nope. Did not do the right attack there. I zigged when I should have zagged. I was thinking that I could time it, but it looks like that area specifically can only really be gotten through with the fire ninpo up here. So I need so I need this thing, and if I don't have this thing right there to kill that enemy, I don't think there's really any proper way to get through that. Okay. Okay, get that ability up. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Whew. All right. This game does kind of feel like a workout at times. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting older, but there's a lot of twitch movement to the attacks. All right. I like sports anime, but sometimes it feels like a bunch of people saying Ganbaro or Ganbate like 300 times. I mean, that's like most anime, I would say, is like that, right? So you can't fault it. That's, at that point you're saying like, oh, I don't like it because it's anime. All anime basically does that. Ah. Ah. Got him. Finally. Woo! That was a tough enemy. If you don't have all three of the shadow ninjas going into it, that would be hard. Now here's the thing. Now that I have this boss beaten, there's 2 more phases to the next boss. If I lose on any of the 2 next phases, it will bump me right back to the beginning of the level. But then when I fight the boss again, it will be phase 2 or phase 3. So this game is a lot more forgiving than the other Ninja Gaiden games, I feel, because, at least they don't make you do like 3 boss rushes in a row. You know what I mean? Because that would be a little excessive, I say. Alright, let me go ahead and catch up on the Super Chats. By the way, one of the few Nintendo NES games with blood in it. You do not see a lot of blood in video games these days. In the old days. Mondo Bizarro donated $1, says, Yo Kenny, did you ever see the anime Kaisei Yakyoku? It's not a bad OVA. Have not even heard of it. I'll have to write that one down. Thank you very much for the donation. Let's see, Mikey donated $5 through Super Chat. Mikey says, I would be interested if you reviewed Flowers of Evil, a 100% rotoscoped anime. It's a dark, artsy, psychological high school romance anime. Aren't they all? Aren't they all set in high school, every single anime? I'll look into it. There aren't a lot of horror anime out there. And the few that are out there, I guess The Laughing Salesman kind of dips into that at some points. There's Pet Shop of Horrors is very similar. Hellgirl also has that same kind of vibe to it. But as far as regular psychological horror anime, none that I'm really aware of. It's like a genre that I like on occasion, but I wouldn't consider myself like a huge horror fan. I should be, though. I do love an occasional horror movie. Let's see. So, like I said, Mikey donated $5 for Flowers of Evil. So it's 100% rotoscoped, huh? So that means like they recorded the like live action and then they drew over it with like CG, right? So that's technically anime. They drew over it. It's tracing. Tracing is a type of drawing. So yeah, that's absolutely anime. I haven't seen it. It looks very realistic. The character designs look very, very not normally what you would consider to be anime. Oh, and I immediately died. So you see there, I only had like 1 bit of health left, so that did not help things there. However, now that I have beaten that very first area there, once I go to that boss, it will automatically boot me to the second form. So at least the game is a little bit forgiving in that respect. If it made me do like the next level, all the same level boss all over again, that would be a problem. And really, that's the only way I ever beat this when I was a kid. You would just kind of brute force it until you had what you needed. And after that, you were able to just kind of go one boss at a time and automatically beat the game after you do all 3 different parts. So really, I would say that first boss is the hardest one. Once you got that one down, easy cakewalk. Just get back to the boss, and you're good. You're golden. Okay, now I got all 3 there. Do that. Is there a way to make the bird spawn? No? Okay. Get that 1 up again. Okay, so now I got 3 lives going into this. Go a little bit further to spawn the bird. Oh, so close. I almost died there. Really, I would say the best way probably to get through this area is just to go very, very slowly here so the enemies don't spawn. You can sometimes trick the game into not spawning an enemy, and that is just invaluable in a couple of areas. I remember the original Ninja Gaiden was also very much like that. You know, you would have these enemies that, as long as you would just like wait a split second, they would just kind of walk off the screen. This guy is a good example of that. He's going left and right, and then he'll just despawn as he goes outside of the game's range. The game just kind of sometimes forgets about certain characters when you're playing it, and that does allow you to kind of I would call it maybe a cheat. Back in the day, we would call all these little tricks cheats, you know, or at least I did. I don't know what people were calling them back then. But I would call that a cheat code or a pro tip, something like that. You know, why fight an enemy if you can just wait for him to walk away? I believe the first video I got recommended was Chargeman Ken. Quite liked the video. It's good. I wish I had talked a little bit more about a couple of other things. You know, it's weird to say that. Like, that video has like over 1 million views, right? So I should be completely happy with it. But for some reason, I thought that I could do a little bit better. But I think that's true of basically like any video. You're always going to be saying to yourself, I could have changed this or this, and then you end up just not being satisfied with it. That's why I don't think I'll redo that video on things that might be anime, because I already basically did as good as I could do on that, you know what I mean? And really, that's the way you should be doing all your videos. You should be doing your best all the time, and then you don't have any regrets, and then, like, if the video ends up doing very well down the line, you could be like, hey, you know, I can see why that did well. I tried my best on it. However, if you don't take your time to do your research and really think your words through properly, you might end up having a Twinkle Nora Rock Me situation on your hands, where all of a sudden it's not as good as you thought it was. Which I think I probably could have done better on the Twinkle Nora Rock Me video, but I had to re-upload that thing, so I think I'm a little bit kind of angry about that whole situation. What happened was there was like a clip from Golgo 13 for like 20 seconds that I used in the video, because the people that worked on Twinkle Nora Rock Me also worked on Golgo 13, and apparently like someone working for that company was like, yeah, we don't want you using Golgo 13 as an example in a Twinkle Nora Rock Me video. So yeah, they had somebody complained about it and took the video down, so that's why I think that video is not as good as it could have been. Not as good as it could have been. Nora is a masterpiece. It is a cautionary tale of what not to do when making an anime. Alright. Do that. Left, right, jump. Okay. Up. I can't jump on there. I recently watched Call Me Tonight and surprised with the humor. Well, you know, that's horror, and I guess it's got a little bit of eroticism to it. You know, not something most people would be watching these days, but from like a historical standpoint, that's an interesting anime. When did that come out? 95? Sorry, not 95. 85, I want to say, is when Call Me Tonight came out. Okay, go up here. Alright. Alright. Go this way. Left, right. Ah! Alright. The problem with this game is there's just too many respawning enemies. And that's really just a limitation of the hardware. You know, there's no memory in place to flag like when an enemy is going to be on screen and when it isn't. Like this guy probably will walk away. Like if I go off screen, he will probably despawn. No? Well, sometimes it does work that way. Alright, but this guy specifically. Call Me Tonight equals Tokimeki Tonight. Am I wrong? I think that's a different anime. Unless I'm thinking something else. There was a like a horror OVA that I was thinking of called Call Me Tonight. Unless it's a completely different anime and I'm completely screwing up and misremembering things. But I thought there was a horror OVA by that name. Let's see. Throw your star. I couldn't look at the chat when I was doing that. I'm so sorry. I probably should have. But you know, when you're in the moment playing those Nintendo games, you're kind of in that zone, and you just don't remember exactly what you have. You know, I was so focused on trying to defeat the boss, and I just was not able to figure out what I was supposed to be doing there. The last Ninja Gaiden boss is always this BS level. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Midori is a great horror anime. It's okay. I mean, it got banned in a bunch of countries. I don't know if you could call that good by that metric. All right. There, let's see. Tokimeki Tonight does have a vampire and werewolf. Is it more of a rom-com? Yeah, it's a comedy. You know, you got a family where the cute girl is like half vampire, and I think her parents are monsters too. It's made by the same company as Lava Thunder, I believe, because Lava Thunder was made by Pan Media, and Pan Media did legitimately help do some work on the lost anime Lava Thunder, so that is a little bit of trivia for you there. All right. Whew. Okay. Duck. Ninpo. Go up here. Get the ability. Duck. Destroy that. Duck. God, this is a brutal game. This is a lot harder than I remember it being. Okay, Abu Tayash donated €5, says, talk about lost media anime but that only have a localized dub like Elfie or anything from the Spacetoon library. A lot of anime are only in Arabic. There's a guy on YouTube called, I think his name is Badre Bali. He's always talking about those Spacetoon dubs, because a lot of them did only air like a handful of times, and you know, he showed me there was like more than one VHS release for Elfie, which I thought was kind of funny. I think I posted pictures of those releases from Spacetoon on my channel, so, or sorry, on my like Twitter handle, so I'm aware of those. I don't know how I would ever get my hands on any of those, because I would think most of those would have to be like from TV recordings, right? So unless you have somebody who recorded when one of those aired online, you know, odds are you're probably not going to be able to get your hands on them. But you never know. You never know. Sometimes people come through and they're like, hey, I've got this thing that you're looking for. It does happen. Oh my god. Okay, this is not good going into this boss battle. Oh my god. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here. You know what it is? I probably am going into the boss battle without enough ninpo. I probably need to go into that boss with like full ninja stars just to be able to beat it. And if I don't have that, there's probably no way for me to end up beating that. Alright, new strategy. I'm gonna give it one more idea. I'm gonna see if I can go into that boss doing like a run where I have just like full ninpo going into there. Alright, Ranma half good to me also. Let's see. You'll get it, Kenny. I've beaten this game before, but, you know, the more tired you get, the harder it gets. At least I beat that first boss, which is definitely a hurdle. Like, if I had this ability, like, this flame ability going into that boss... Oh my... Ugh. I don't know why I end up, getting killed there every single time. Up, up, down, down, left, right, A, B. Yeah, but that's cheating. You know, it's not like the Konami code is even in there. I've beaten Contra, too. Sometimes I think, Contra is more forgiving than Ninja Gaiden. Alright. Let's see, these are the the games Game Genie was made for. Yeah, basically. I mean, it's tough, but it's fair. But the problem is, what's fair is part of practice. So if you don't have the muscle memory to remind you of what you're doing, then you're just not going to be able to beat these games. Jump again when you land in front of the snake, maybe. He comes when you... let's see, backseat. I wasn't looking at the game. I was reading the chat. That's what I need to do. I need to actually pay attention to the video game. What do you know? The trick to beating a video game is to pay attention to the video game that you're playing. Okay, do that. Okay, go this way. All right, not bad, not bad. Okay. Oh my... this is not an easy game that as much as I remember. Okay. Thankfully, I actually have this on like a tube TV. I couldn't imagine even attempting this if I didn't have like an original system to play this on. And I know it looks like this is going through like an emulator, but this is legitimate hardware. Okay. Okay, I just need to maybe inch through here. I've got a feeling that that's the trick here. You just inch through this area, and maybe that'll despawn the enemies or something. That's funny. Ninja Gaiden is a funny game for funny people. Okay. Alright, try this again. One up. A little bit forward. Bird. 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 Okay, go forward. Okay. Wait for that bird to go by. Okay, so I guess his spawn point is somewhere over there. Will it just keep spawning if I stay in this spot? Okay, I guess not. 2. Alright, good. Now I got up here. A little bit forward. Okay, got it. Whew. Okay, jump. Hold right. Go up. Left, right. Okay. Is there a way to despawn that guy? Yeah, probably not. Okay, wait for that guy. Ah. Okay, now I have 3 ninja abilities. Is this a bird? That bird, a decapitated turkey. Let's see. Decent tactic for those horrible birds. Just scooch up, then kill, then don't move. Yeah, and that's the thing about this game. It really tests your patience. I feel like it's harder. It's easier than I think it is. Okay. All right. So now I have full health here. Basically, I got hit 1 time. What is the strategy here? Does it only take damage when the mouth is open? Because if it only takes damage when the mouth is open, then I guess I basically just have to go around in a circle. But let's see. Is the tornado glitched in this one? No, it is not. So does anybody? Yeah, the stars. Well, I'm gonna use them. I only have 3 of the Nimpo for the stars, but I have 3 of the ninjas, so maybe that'll do a lot of damage. I'm not exactly sure. I always thought these were giant hornets. Maybe. Okay, I don't know when this enemy takes damage. I'm going to assume it takes damage no matter what, but it might be only when the mouth is open or something, so I'm going to give this another try. Okay, 3, 2, 1... Oh, that doesn't do anything. I was hoping I could use the shadow ability to attack him during other frames. Got him. Oh my god. That was so close. If I had gotten hit one more time, that would have automatically killed me. He has too much Supreme. Kenny, can you tell us about the MSX Dinosaur Park? The MSX Dinosaur Park was... so like MSX, they wanted to run like a campaign where they had like an outside fair where Microsoft and MSX were coming together to be like, hey, this is our line of computers. And the number one thing that they wanted to show off was no matter what MSX computer system that you had, they were all interchangeable with each other. So it was kind of like a world trade fair sort of situation where they were trying to show it off. And then they had Toho build a gigantic dinosaur statue, which roared, by the way, and scared all the children. So, okay. And I instantly died because I only had enough health to go into that boss. But here's the thing. I've already beaten 2. Now once I get back to the final level, I'll have health where I can actually do the the third thing. You mentioned on Twitter that Golden Bat was inspired by Phantom of the Opera. The 1950 movie, Golden Bat, from 1950, which is lost. Nobody has it. You know, it was destroyed or something like that. Is called Phantom of the Skyscraper. So that makes sense, right? Like the 1950s Golden Bat, he has that cape and he has a mask on. The name of the movie is Phantom of the Skyscraper, Phantom of the Opera. It makes sense that it might be inspired by that. I don't have a source, it's like circumstantial evidence, but that's what I think. You could hear about Golden Bat forever. There is more info on Golden Bat out there, though. The problem is a lot of it's, like, unsubstantiated, because, like, a lot of his information is, like, straight up lost. And the reason for that is, you know, from, like, 1930s, a lot of that was lost in the war, so, you know, fire bombings and whatnot kind of destroyed whatever Golden Bat info was still out there, because the Kamishibai days of Japan, where they had the traveling merchants with the manga trucks, they kind of, I mean, they are documented in some ways. Obviously, Japan still teaches that about that at the Kyoto Manga Museum, but much of it is just, you know, it's unverifiable information, which is an issue. I think the only way to get past that enemy, if you don't jump right on top of it and take the hit in order to get past it, you're just going to go straight into that pit there. So there might be a way to actually get past that, maybe with some sort of Nimpo, but I don't know of a way to do it, so. Okay. Alright, wait for that guy to go. Kill the bird. Go back. Go this way. Go down. Duck. Forward. Alright, see, like I said, it's memorization is what it really is. Like, now I remember, I gotta do that. Gotta do, oh! Now I screwed up. Now I messed up. Okay. Alright, okay. Wait for that guy to go off screen. Okay, go this way. I gotta go here, duck. Wait for this bird to go by. Alright, jump. Left, right, slash. Okay, good. And really, once you know that this bird spawns in this corner over here, you can just kind of keep inching your way forward until it's gone, and it looks like you can get by it that way. So, you know, you do learn a little bit just through memorization. A lot of people, when they play Ninja Gaiden, they're like, well, this is impossible. You know, why would I even attempt this? But there are legitimately, like, strategies. Part of it is timing that you can use in order to make your experience a little bit better. But, you know, most people aren't going to put that amount of patience into a game. They want the instant gratification of, like, being like, hey, I want to play a video game, why is it so hard? However, I feel that because this video game is so hard, you almost appreciate it more, in a way. You know, if something isn't, if something's easy, it's probably not worth doing. You know, the harder something is, the more fun it is to enjoy, I would say. Okay. There we go. And that's Ninja Gaiden 2, the Dragon Sword, I believe is the name of the game. I could be wrong. I just beat the game. I should know what the name of the video game is, you know? Where would I start with Dirty Pair? I would start with the light novels. Or maybe they're full-blown novels. Dirty Pair started as a series of books. Then it had a couple of anime that were done as, like, fan projects. It was the thing in the 70s and 80s. Then they cameo in Crusher Joe, the movie, I think. Then they have the TV series. So there's a lot of stuff to kind of unpack with Dirty Pair. But yeah, you can't go wrong with the animated Dirty Pair TV series. It's like a love letter to 1980s Hollywood. You know, you'll have a Terminator parody one episode, then the next episode will be a parody on on the movie Alien, and it just goes on and on like that every episode. It's great. It's fantastic stuff. Cat Link says, "Hey Kenny, do you watch Game Center CX? I would if it was more readily available. I mean, they haven't released much of it in English that I know of. All the good English dub sites seem to be dwindling. Well, you know, you gotta have your VHS tapes. What can I tell you? Hang on to those tapes and your DVDs and your Laserdiscs." Griffith Phoenix Saurus Rex says, "Yeah, boy. Lego Pair was... Dirty Pair was pretty good. Yes, it was." Let's see. Charlie Suno donated 69, donated $1. Let me actually go back and read the super chats. I'm going to go ahead and catch up with them right now. This is a fantastic ending, by the way. I love this. I love the art on this. It's got a really good mood to it. Let's see here. So Charlie says, "Will you ever post videos about old Japanese gaming in the future?" I was thinking about doing videos on very, very bad Japanese video games at some point. Kusoge, as they tend to call them. There are a lot of very, very bad Famicom games based on anime. Like I said, the Dirty Pair game, Dirty Pair Project Eden for the Famicom Disk System. Go ahead and Google search that one of these days. It is probably the worst video game I've ever played. It is impossible to describe how difficult that video game is. It's like arm wrestling with somebody. Imagine you're arm wrestling with the Nintendo NES controller the entire time you're playing it. That's what it feels like to play Dirty Pair on the Famicom Disk System. It is so bad. Oh my god. It is really bad. Apparently, TNG Screens, lol, the stream is still here. Yeah, well, I just beat Ninja Gaiden, so, you know, wasn't going to let this just sit here. What else we got? Amazing. Play Dragon Power. I know it's too mainstream for you, but god, is it awful. There are a lot of bad Nintendo games out there. You know what's weird is there's tons of bad games that, like, the Angry Video Game Nerd has never touched. I don't understand why he's never tried to play the Dirty Pair game on the Famicom Disk System. Maybe it's too bad for him. The Gunbuster game for PlayStation 2, I've played it. It's extremely text-heavy. Very, very text-heavy. Jesus, there was an Akira Famicom game? Yes, there was. Is it better or worse than the Transformers Famicom game? Worse. Worse. It has mazes in it. Like, it has really bad platforming, and then you have to go through mazes. And even with save states, I don't know if it's possible to beat that game. It's that bad. Is it worse than Skebon Deca 3 for the Famicom? Yes. Yes, it is. Nathaniel Essex says, "Check out Not to Treasure Hunter on the PS1. Have you tried the PS2 Cowboy Bebop game?" No, I have not. I've tried the Lupin the Third game on the PS1, though, which was not that bad. Kenny slowly morphs into the angry Famicom nerd. Yeah, I don't want to have to play through the Dirty Pair game for the Famicom Disk System. It's not a good time. Okay, so what do we got in the chat going here? Mr. Roboto says that's a big sun. Burning Elson says, "Have you ever played Hanano Star Kaido?" I haven't, but I've seen a video on it. Seems like a superb example of Kusoge. Are you talking about that RPG that was made like in a month for the Famicom, and it barely even works? I might know what game you're talking about. Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, or Freakazoid, which do you prefer? Freakazoid. Like, no, not even a question about that. Freakazoid stands on the top of that pile of examples he gave. Great cartoon. I would watch that right now if I could. Cemetery Hill says Japanese retro games are one thing that I haven't played nearly as much as the stuff that got localized. Listener says we don't need to see Kenny have a coronary playing Dirty Pair. Yeah, I've tried. I tried to beat it. It's not fun. It's not a good time. Neko Sickle says City Adventure Touch Famicom game was just open world beat 'em up with no baseball. Bliss Gore says I need the Famicoms. Kenny, any forum or anime shrine from the 2000s you miss? I remember there was an anime shrine for Wizardmon from Digimon Season 2. There were a lot of anime shrines for Digimon characters back in the day. I'm not exactly sure why. Some of them are probably still up. If you guys don't know what anime shrines are, they are exactly what you think they are. People would be really into one anime character, like their anime waifu, and then they would just make a website about them with every single picture that they could think of and just slap them all on one page. It was an interesting time back in those 90s. How many Gunbuster games are out there? I know there's the PlayStation 2 one. I'm not sure if there are any others. We review the Ninja Gaiden OVA. Well, I would have to rebeat Ninja Gaiden 3 because it's a tie-in game. Anyone played the Commodore 64 anime games? Not many. Thoughts on NASA Touchdown? Haven't seen that. Oh god, the shrines. I feel so old now, yeah. Kenny, you got me into collecting tapes. I think I'm starting a channel for the strange random stuff I find at garage sales and thrift stores. Well, just be sure to have a proper VCR in order to back those up, and color correct them, because a lot of these tapes, they're very, very faded, which is another thing that people don't tend to mention. So yeah, color correct your tapes, white balance them. Let's see, Talal Al-Maki says, hi, guys, how is everyone in Kenny Lauderdale? How about doing? Is there any new old anime to talk about? The next video is probably going to be about another J-drama, but there's plenty of old anime. I mean, really, the past is just the future in the other direction, so just pick an anime you've never heard of. Do I need a Betamax player? No, I do not. There were anime released on Betamax, but there weren't any anime, at least that I know of, that were released solely on Betamax. Let's put it that way. I have an official Japanese Dirty Pair novel in English. It was used in Japanese schools to teach English. Well, that's an interesting little bit of trivia there. Anything worthy on the Dreamcast? Yes. Okay, well, I just beat Ninja Gaiden 2 on the Nintendo NES, and it's getting late, so I'm going to call it a night, you guys. If there's anything anybody wants to tell me right before I close this out, I'll give you guys like a minute or so to close this out, just to send me questions or whatever. I might do a stream sometime tomorrow during like a normal hour if I have the time, but no promises. What can I say? Are links filtered in YouTube chat at all? I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know what YouTube does. Will I stream any of the Mystical Ninja games someday? There are Famicom Mystical Ninja games. I could. It's possible. What's my favorite anime film? I don't know, man. Something normal, like Kiki's Delivery Service, maybe. I have very basic taste in anime films. Like, if you look at my channel, I haven't really reviewed any movies. Thanks for the stream, Kenny. Top 5 favorite anime of all time? I don't know, man. Trigun, Kino's Journey, Galaxy Express 39, Fooly Cooly, yeah, Mushishi. I mean, like, they're all up there. They're all good. Pingu Anime Review 1, probably never. I mean, it's an anime, but, like, what could I say about it? It's made for kids. Good night, it's been fun. Already answered, like, 5 of your questions, so I'm not going to answer any more. JFG, SLO, sorry. Let's see, Andy says, how to preserve VHS tapes video. Yeah, I was thinking about doing a video on, like, VHS capture at some point. The problem with VHS capture is a lot of it is very expensive. And I don't mean to, like, be a snob or anything like that, but you gotta have a proper VCR, and you gotta have a proper capture card, and then you have to have a clean tape, and then you gotta... There's a lot to it. There's more than you would think. Let's see, all of those are top-notch suggestions. Store them with strong magnets. Opinions on Ergo Proxy, got no opinions there. Okay, that's enough question answering. I might stream tomorrow. Not exactly sure if I will. But if I do, you guys will probably know maybe like around 7 p.m. or so Eastern time, I think. Maybe 8, somewhere around there. No promises, but I will try. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say. Ninja Gaiden was fun. Have a wonderful night, and have a good sleep.